Wow, much bigger crowd than I anticipated, which is great. Thank you very much for coming. And first and foremost, I'm going to chastise myself yet again. At the January meeting, actually, I believe it was the annual meeting, we had a moment of silence for target members of the community. And I don't know how, but again, I missed someone very, very, very important. And then again, in February, at our February meeting, I forgot to mention it. And that's Paula Johnson, who passed away 21 a year ago, right, Gary?
Yes.
And so I'd like to just ask for a moment of silence. Have a moment of silence for Paula Johnson, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. We miss her terribly. I know you do as well, Gary, but we all miss her. Great member of the community. Couple of administrative things, and I'm going to zip through this because I think one of the secrets to getting more participation is not running 2 hours. Okay, so we're going to try to keep this moving along. So tonight, especially because there were a lot of complaints from people that were online last time, if you're going to speak, you are going to use a microphone. I don't care what kind of command voice you have. I don't care if you think you're the loudest person in the room. You're going to use a microphone because people could not hear a lot of what was being said, okay? So that's just a little administrative thing. And I'm not going to go over all of any of the committee because the committee chairs are going to give their reports and they're much more adept at doing it than I am and have much more knowledge than I do. But one thing I do want to mention is the special assessment that everybody is paying for the insurance. Okay. I think quite a few of us in this room assume, oh, I'm on automatic payment. It'll get taken care of. Well, guess what? It's not. You have to pay it separately. You can't even set up. Well, you can set up an automatic payment of that monthly special assessment through your bank, but not on Town Square. You can only use one automatic payment method on Town Square, and that's what I use, and probably a lot of you use for your monthly HOA fees. The special assessment is not getting charged. Therefore, some of you, like me, have incurred late fees. And we'll go ahead and just make sure there's lots of ways to do it. If you can't figure it out, you can send in a check, send it to Phoenix, not to Oracle Road Associate. If you need that address, we can get it to you. You can tell your bank to deduct that amount on a monthly basis, but get it done so you don't incur the late fees and then the penalties that are associated with it. Okay. I want to clarify, a joke was made last meeting, and it was something along the lines of, oh yeah, Jim, for all the money you get paid, you should be happy. He's not getting paid, folks. Jim's not getting paid a penny for anything he does around here. Nothing, hopefully nothing's coming out of his pocket where reimbursement for his expenses for materials. I, on the other hand, I'm making a ton of money. I'm not. No one's getting paid. We're doing this because we want to. It needs to be done. Some of it's easy. Some of it's not so easy. But we're making some progress. If you take a look around, things are starting to shape up a little bit. Not just in terms of the landscaping, but in terms of the buildings. We're closing. Jim's going to get into more of this, but we'll maybe show you some pictures when we get to Jim's report for maintenance. Now, having said that, we're a two-man band, and he's the band leader, and I carry the tools and do what he tells me to do. If you have extra time and you want to play, and you want to join us, for free. Just reach out. We're out almost every single day, almost 7 days a week, doing some project or another. Some of them are easy, some of them are menial. I don't mean menial, but they're easier than the others. The one thing that we do want to do is prove out the general look and feel of the buildings themselves. I know everyone's focused on landscaping and irrigation and flower beds and things like that, but let's think about simple things. There's a number of you in the room that are already doing this, and you're too numerous to mention, but thank you for painting your jelly jar lights white. On the sides of your quads. Some of them are rusty, some of them are black, some of them look nasty. It just improves the overall look of the complex. Little things like that. There are other small things that you can do, folks. I'm not asking anybody to climb ladders or to grab a 22-inch chainsaw and lop off trees and limbs and do heavy labor. Small things that you see around the community. Instead of spending the time to go on town square or filling out a maintenance request to say that the light bulb is out, how about we just go ahead and change the light bulb? It's not that hard. We'll reimburse you for the light bulb. We have plenty of them. Little things like that. As you see things around the community, all we're asking you to do is there's some gravel or stones in the sidewalk, back where they belong. Don't trip over them. Small little things without breaking a sweat will help us out, because believe it or not, we spend a lot of time doing small things like that. Okay, and if you want to help out, I will give you Jim's cell phone number. He loves it when I give out his cell phone numbers. Now, having said that, there's one cautionary note on helping out. We've had now 3 occasions of well-intentioned digging, removing dead stuff from flower beds, something like that, and that's unfortunately resulted in 3 instances of irrigation pipes being broken. So, if we can fix it, if it's simple, we do it. If we can't, unfortunately, you're going to need a bill. There's one in particular. It's about a 20-foot length that has to be dug up and replaced. It cannot be repaired. It could be repaired. It costs more money to repair it than it's replaced. So things like that. Just be careful if you're digging or trimming. Don't cut a drip line. Don't cut a cable to your neighbor's TV. Things like that. Last thing, on this bulletin board right here, like last summer, we're going, sorry guys, should have been there. Things are going to continue to occur with the lawn irrigation system, okay? This is kind of a log. You can post it on town square. You can come here and get a flag right by the front steps, which look marvelous, by the way. New railings, but not new, but modified. But if you can, and if you feel like it, if you're here, come by, write down the information that's on here, where the problem is, where the geyser is, where the sprinkler is that's not working, whatever the problem is, the crew comes in the morning, they see it, and they can address it. Okay, so please use it if you can. Yes. You got one already. Yeah. I already took care of that one. I sent it on to him already. Okay. Any questions on this process? Thank you. Alrighty. Very quickly, and I can't go into all the names, but really appreciate the time, the effort that everyone on the Business and Finance Committee, led by Ed Quick, thanks, Margaret. Yeah, Tim Bob. We went over this earlier, I think it was earlier this week, and had a meeting with Adobe, their accountant, and I think that's going to prove very, very helpful. But they've had a tremendous amount of effort in part, but mostly because, look, we had an unbelievable bad year last year. Most of it was due to the storm. It was a bad year. We had a bad year the year before that, which was, we're not quite sure exactly what happened, but in 2023, lost about $45,000, if I remember correctly. In any event, so we're kind of keeping a tight rein on things, a tighter rein than we have in the past, trying to stick to the budget, make sure we're spending money appropriately, and getting the things done that really need to be done, and putting off those items that can be put off. So thanks to Business and Finance and all the committee members, and us. I gotta say thanks to Associate for hosting us and clarifying a few issues. Social committee, I don't see Ruth here, but if you missed the St. Patrick's Day party, you missed some really good food. It was nighttime. Somebody gave me a glass of wine. I think I had one too many. No, it was really nice. So thanks to Social, especially Ruth and Marty, and without betraying any confidences, I can say that Marty's experiencing some difficulties and supposedly or hopefully is going to get things straightened out with his doctor this week. Finally, our huge thanks, and you're going to hear a lot more about it, so I'm not going to go into any of it right now. Landscaping committee did a lot of work. I mean, we have 4 bids in. Some of the bids were, 12, 15 pages. You got to try and compare apples to apples, rank order them, compare one to the other, find out what the best solution is. And Louise is going to talk about that when we get to her report. But thanks to everyone on the landscaping committee for all of your efforts over the past month and month plus. In terms of these meetings, our monthlies, as I say, this is a good crowd. This is one of the larger crowds we've had in a while. I think it shows that people either are upset or they care. Hopefully it's the latter and not the former. So in light of what I had said, I think if we can keep things concise, on point, on topic, that it will benefit us all because we're not going to be here when it turns dark. And that's the objective. I don't think I'll have to, but if you do get a chance to speak and want to speak, there is a 2-minute time limit. I will try and enforce that if at all possible. Finally, and this goes back to, especially the folks online that can't be here. Let's try and have one person talk at a time, not 7 different opinions going around, because it happens a lot, and it just kind of sort of gets out of control, and we don't notice it because we can follow 2 or 3 different conversations, but online it's virtually impossible. So let's keep that in mind. And with that, I guess I should call roll first. Okay. Mike, let's do the roll call. I apologize. Margaret is Louise Platt, Judy Saw, Susan Vance, Gary Johnson here, John Barrowman here, Tatiana McClure here, Ed Quick here. Okay. Miss anyone? Okay.
Don't you see?
We have a quorum, 100%. Okay. And since I already gave the president's report, we're going to move right into secretary's report. And I'm not sure who's giving that.
An update that you may have gotten. Anything about the lap pool? Anything?
Yes. Let me have the microphone back, please. Yeah. So the lap pool, I spoke with Sparkle today, yesterday and today. I haven't been down there in the last 2 hours, so I don't know if they're there. They are there?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So they are replacing the changer, which died a month after it was installed, with a higher grade heat exchanger. The reason that it died is because the flow meter was broken and nobody noticed. It's sort of like a thermostat that's stuck on 70 degrees. The flow meter was stuck and everybody just assumed that water was going through the system properly. It wasn't. Because it wasn't going through properly, there was heat buildup. The heat exchanger elements inside the heat exchanger got warped, calcium buildup, and it failed. So they're replacing the flow meter and the heat exchanger, and they're supposed to be done today. It might bleed in tomorrow. But that's the status, but it will be done no later than tomorrow. And then it'll just take a day or so to get the temperature.
I saw swimmers on.
Judy, Judy, tell him what you just said. Others were working in the little shed. We know,
Yeah,
we know.
that's the pool heaters.
Yeah, no, we already said that, yeah. I didn't hear. Who's the secretary? You.
Oh, secretary.
Secretary.
Oh, no, she did that. Okay, so this is for the February 2025 meeting minutes. I'd like to make a motion to have them approved.
I second that.
Is there a
I
motion?
first it.
First is the motion, and a second? Okay, who made the motion?
I'll motion. I thought you made a motion.
No, you call for the motion.
and Judy
Okay,
seconded.
It's not, it's parliamentary thing, it's okay. The Robert's rules thing. We're not that strict on it, are we, Chrissy?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Motion made and seconded, to approve the February meeting minutes. Is there any questions or discussion from the board? Anything from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. We'll move right into committee and we're gonna have Mr. Quick, grab a mic
Thanks.
and,
Okay, so if people in the room should have had a copy of the treasurer and business finance reports. I'm going to report for both. You have one combined report. Do you need a copy? I have some more up here. So as Jay shared, we met with associates to kind of look at the financial reporting, make sure we understood it all clearly, and that we got the information as quickly as possible so it could be actionable. So as a result of that meeting, we've got a baseline understanding of our 2025 performance from a financial perspective for 2025 going forward. One thing that we want to call attention to is that the reserves look very healthy. And that's because when we borrow money from reserves, which we have been doing for the last 3 years, it remains an asset of the reserve until it's either paid back in full, which then just keeps the reserve at the balance it currently is, or we decide to write it off, then it becomes a negative against reserve. So right now we've borrowed in total for the last 3 years, $96,000. That's still an asset. If we don't make payments back to that, that will come out of our reserve total and drop us down to about 200, hold on, let me flip the page, to about $300,000, a little bit less. On top of that, for this year in our budget, we have about $200,000 earmarked for reserve repairs. Now, to Jay's point earlier, we don't necessarily have to do those, but if we were to do that, that would leave us at a very low reserve balance. Assuming they cost as much as they do, we do them all, we'd be at about $100,000 in reserve. We have a reserve contribution coming in for this year, bring it up slightly, but that's not a good position to be in for a community this old, with this many units in the community. So that, just want to make sure that people are aware of that. Going forward, what we're looking at for cost drivers for 2025 is landscaping and trash. Jay mentioned the landscaping committee has done a lot of work on that. We anticipate that that could come in a bit over what we have budgeted for, particularly when we're going to carve out trash from the landscaping. So we'll understand more of that hopefully later.
and I think when, gives a reporter the late breaking news on some of that, which, is good news. So I think it's good to share it with everybody tonight.
Okay. Okay. And then the other thing that was mentioned earlier, the special assessment for the insurance for this year. I think we're under the receipts, if you will. We haven't gotten all the money and we need to get in through this part for 2 months so far. And that's the result of, I think, more confusion how to make those payments. So hopefully we'll get that brought up to speed or current, but I also want to keep it in front of mind that this will be another financial obligation we'll have next year that we'll have to address either through a special assessment or increasing the HOA fees, depending on how Business and Finance recommends to the board on how to manage this going forward. But the insurance hurdle is a long-term hurdle. It might come down a little bit, more likely to go up a little bit, given California, the East Coast, and the wonderful extreme weather we seem to have almost every month. So more to come on that front. Committee also is hoping to continue to leverage ongoing modeling that we have, enhance it a little bit so we can forecast a little bit better earlier in the year for 2025. And we'll use those same tools to build the 2026 budget. Okay, that's the front page of my report. On the back page are kind of the financial snapshots. So the one thing I'll call out in terms of if you're at the top table, to the left, and make sure what hand I'm looking at here, to the left, those are the year-to-date. So it's 2 months of information, and it looks like we're doing really well. However, please remember, we borrowed about 42,000, I think it was, or about 47,000. Thank you, $47,000 from the reserve to pay our bills. While the numbers, again, that's still an asset, that's why it looks favorable. The other thing to call out is that the special assessment funds that we are receiving are going into our revenue, whereas the cost of the insurance is not counted in the budget against it. So that makes the financial position look very favorable. But let's be clear, it is not. Okay? I feel like the Grim Reaper here, but I just want to make sure people understand that when they walk out of these meetings and here are some decisions that could be made tonight or in the future of dialing back some of the things that we're doing to try and get us out of this financial strife, if you will. I think that's all that I'll speak to in the interest of time. I think the numbers, if you have questions on the spreadsheets, feel free to ask me or any of the business and finance committee members. We're glad to answer any questions.
This $7,000 that is for under or short buy,
Yes.
you mentioned that it's from owners not aware how to pay the additional funds electronically. What is that figure? Do we have it?
The $7,000 in total
That's
for 2
all.
months. So it's $3,500 a month. And I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what the assessment was by each unit, but I want to say it's $75 to $90 range per unit per month. So it adds up pretty quickly.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
And it can't be fair repeating enough that what I said earlier about that, if you think it's getting paid automatically, it's not. You need to take some action. Thank you, Ed. Are there any questions for Ed from the board? Any other questions?
I don't know if this is the time appropriate or whatever, but is it possible to get out another blast, another blast to the community as far as where to send this special assessment payment to? Because it was kind of hidden in a lot of different emails. It was very confusing. And I know some people are still going up to Oracle Road, and I mean, we just need a real straightforward announcement where to spend these monies.
Okay, Chrissy, you want to handle that one?
Yes, I do. So the payments are sent to the same place you would send an HOA payment. And that information is found on your monthly statement. That information is found on the blast on Town Square. It should be pinned toward the top. It says associated new payment address or what have you. There was a blast sent out when that address became known that Susan had sent out to the community, and it had nothing to do with special assessment. It was just an email blast regarding payments in general, where to send them.
It went out October and November
Yes.
and December.
Yes, and then we sent out the information again after the new year. So if you do have questions, feel free to hop on Town Square, email me, call me, whatever. Susan, I guess she could send another email blast if you'd like, but like I said, this has been announced probably a total of 6 times. Yeah, so it is a PO box in Phoenix.
Okay, thank you. Were there questions from the community for Ed? Okay, thank you. If not, Chris, did you have anything on your action item, or do you want anything?
Only if there's questions.
Are there any questions? Everybody hopefully has the packet. There is a manager's action item log in there. And if there's no questions, we'll move right on to the committee reports. And I think we're gonna move on to, yeah, okay, never mind, I'm in the wrong location. Landscape, and that would be Louise Platt, Louise.
Okay,
There you go, could you speak right into the top of the microphone?
yes, sir. Alrighty, can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, okay. I want to kind of bullet point through this. It's not a matter of priority or timeline. It's just as how these things came to my mind. Number one, we have the annual glean that is scheduled finally for April 5th, Saturday, April 5th. I just got an email from Al and Pam, their organization. They're coming back to harvest whatever we have left of our citrus. They'll be here at 9 o'clock, and hopefully we'll get some community help with this. The landscape committee will provide water, Gatorade, donuts, coffee, and pickers. Anybody who has pickers, please bring them over to the clubhouse. That's where we'll be meeting, and there will be about 20 people who will arrive. And we'll provide the crew with a map and some, well, we'll have to walk around the community with the volunteers in order to get them where they need to go, if we know where to go. It's still, I've been here almost 3 years and I get lost. Number two, what also happened since the last meeting, RO did complete the cypress tree trim last month. Very, very nice. And just for luck, a few days afterward, we got a real bad windstorm, and some of the beautifully trimmed cypress started looking a little shabby again, but that's the way it goes. But that has been done. We won't need to deal with the cypress again for, I think, 2 years. I think is the schedule. With luck, you're right. This past month, as you all probably know, Alfonso worked very diligently with the Martinez group to get all the lawn sprinklers up and running and hung. Our lawns are really starting to look nice. The Bermuda, I don't think will really start blooming all green until our nighttime temperatures stabilize a little higher for consistency's sake, but they are coming around. And we have started to water the lawns earlier this year just because of the seasonal change and how dry it's been. So I think we're going to have to move forward, continue to adapt our schedule that was set all those years by Alfonso, but things are changing. So we have to push some things up. And weed pre-emergence was sprayed earlier this month on the beds, the flower beds. This coming week, the pre-emergence and the fertilizer, it's a combination chemical, will be applied to the lawns on schedule. The after that point, then lawn will be aerated, and then or is it aerated first?
Believe they,
Aerated. It should be aerated first. Yeah. So yeah. And then I've given some time for the herbicide and fertilizer to settle into the ground. They'll proceed. So our lawns will be looking really pretty in about a month. The citrus trees this month have been fertilized. The olive trees are to be sprayed this week. We are running a couple days behind the original schedule for all the lawn aerating, but they will be on task as the group has time to do that. Salvation Army issue. We have, as many of you know, we have a debris, trash, garbage issue along the eastern oleander border between our property and the Salvation Army. Jane is explaining this one, Nancy, and the regional manager, the regional manager and the director of Salvation Army walked the properties last month. The regional director has been in touch with us, wondering if we're getting any improvements. I don't know if there has been much improvements in the debris. There was a little bit of, we're continuing to work with them. They have this issue with every one of their sites. I have empathy to a certain degree, but at least there's communication that has been open and conversation with these individuals. And we had one or two committee meetings since our last HOA. We had a meeting this past week with the landscape committee to go over the landscape bids for continuing our landscaping work. And I don't know if this is the time to discuss.
Sure it is.
Ooh, okay. There were 4 bids that were submitted to us. There was AAA Landscape, ALCC Landscaping, Martinez Landscaping, of course, and Sonora Oasis. Through great diligence with all of us, we compared all the details within each bid. When we looked at the bids, the top line as far as what they were charging us monthly, that was shocking on many levels. And then it was even more shocking when we got into the details as far as what landscapers were offering. So I'm trying to be brief. Yes. Oh, right. Okay. We drafted up a scope of work document that was distributed to each of the companies so that they had a consistent guideline off of which to submit their bid.
And we had a meeting.
And yeah, we had a meeting with all of them. Jay and Jim walked the community with ALCC, was it? It was AAA. Nobody else really wanted to walk with us through the community. I did have a good bit of talk with Sonoran, really like them as well. Bottom line, try and make this concise as I can. AAA came in way more expensive than what this community can afford. I mean, it just wasn't. And it wasn't just even the bid. Okay.
You can share the number. The number is not really that important.
It really isn't. What was the deciding factor was all the little hidden costs that each one of these companies were submitting to us, like maybe over $100 to plant a tree, an aerator specialist at $77.50 an hour. One company wanted $53.50 an hour over and beyond their general fee that they were charging us monthly.
Biggest need would be irrigation repair.
Which we are constantly addressing in every week. Repeated.
Irrigation repair.
We have an irrigation problem. Irrigation.
So what I'm trying to get at least to say is that all of the bids, whether they were within our budget or not, stipulated that any work on our irrigation system is above and beyond the number, just like planting a bush was above and beyond the number. So when you think about the number of hours that are included in just repairing one simple sprinkler head or a valve or you name it, it's an unknown hidden cost that we can't forecast, we can't foresee, we can't budget for, but we know we're going to incur. So that was a big wow. Geez, if even if we could afford the $220,000 per year that one of the companies did, even if we could afford that, that's not the top number. Their number is plus all this other stuff. There was a big factor in the decision-making process. Sorry here.
That's fine. Feel free to clarify. I think I do want to give you an idea of the numbers that came in, just the flat bid, monthly bid. AAA offered $18,200 a month.
That's $218,000 per year.
A month. $18,000. Yeah. Sonora Oasis underneath that was $15,773.
$218,000. I'm sorry, $198,000.
180 or?
Yeah, 180. Dyslexic, sorry.
Okay. ALCC wrote out at 12,800 a month. Martinez, 12,000 a month. Inherent in all these bids, except for Martinez, were all these extra costs. Irrigation repair, planting a tree, removing, add and and so when it came right down to it, it was a unanimous vote to continue to work with Martinez,
Recommend to the board.
to recommend to the board to continue to work with Martinez based on not just 100% on the financial aspect of it, but also the fact that these guys are familiar with our property. They've been working it for 2 years. Yes, they have issues. We know they have issues. But they really want, Steve Martinez really wants this job. Alfonso has been very great at working with them and reining them in. And I think we just feel that it is in our better interest, at least for the next couple years until we stabilize, to continue on with this company. And so I think Greg Cross has some more to add to that, Greg, as far as how you feel.
So can I make a quick, I'm sorry, can I make a suggestion real quick? Just really quick.
Before we do that, yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna make a suggestion, because we're still in the committee reports, if we just finish up landscape and then
Yeah.
this item is actually on the agenda under unfinished business, we can extend the conversation to that.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to add one or two things to amplify what Luis just summarized. Believe me, that was a brief summary because a lot of work, and again, thanks to everybody on landscaping for all that effort. But okay, sorry. With, I think the recommendation to continue with Martinez. Look, you're looking at the guy that's the most outspoken. I've been blasting the Martinez crew in this forum for months about how inefficient and inept and unexperienced and any negative thing that I could think of to say, because I'm very, very frustrated with them. However, we went on a couple of site visits to see some reference sites for some of these landscapers, and we came back into this community and went, "Oh, this looks pretty good." This looks pretty good compared to what we just saw. Not only that, but Louis alluded to Alfonso. Now, we passed at the last board meeting to use Alfonso up to 20 hours per week at $50 per hour as a sort of a foreman, if you will, but not really, to guide and to help Martinez. He spent 1 week doing that before he left for California. In that 1 week, he got more done with them by directing them, teaching them, leading them, and showing them what needed to be done. And these guys could have got done on their own in 3 months. So there's the key. So if you take a look at the budget of 175, Martinez is charging or is asking for 144,000 of that 175. That leaves us some money for trash. We got a bid today for trash. The key to this whole thing working properly is hopefully Alfonso will continue to work on a part-time basis with them, mentor them, show them what needs to be done. The guys are willing to work, you know, for the most part. Yeah, they might light out of the shade today. As somebody came to my door and told me, but anyway, for the most part, I think things are starting to turn. They're interested in the property. They definitely want the business. Are they the best? No. Are they the most efficient? No. Are they the most experienced? No. But we can lead them. We can show them. We can manage them. And before we decide if the board agrees to move forward and vote on this contract, and approve it. Before that happens, before contract is signed, there's going to be a very, very serious meeting with them that stipulates all these things that have to be done. And it's not going to be a text every morning, we're here, and a text every afternoon, we're leaving, which is sort of all we've been getting for a long time, even though the contract says something else. So I've said enough on that. Did we jump the gun on this? We did. Okay. So what do we do now? Do we open it up for questions and continue on? No? We'll address it later. Okay. So is there anything else on landscaping? And I apologize for jumping the gun.
Yeah, she got the checks, no,
All right.
we're good.
Okay. Are there any questions for Louise from the board for landscaping? Are there any questions from the community on landscaping? Please, Colleen.
Okay, so it's not a question, it's more just a comment, and I think it's really important that all of us realize that given the bids that came in and the costs that were attributed to those bids, we can only afford what we're gonna get. And so I think the community needs to really appreciate going forward that landscaping costs are only going to go up. Thank you.
And they are going to go up. You're right, Colleen. There are some things that we can do to mitigate that. There are some small areas here and there that are currently grass. Maybe we zero gate those. Nothing, I'm not talking about the central quads, the vast expanse of the lawn, but there are borders along the walls here and there. Anything that we can cut down on the maintenance and irrigation of those areas is going to benefit us in the long run in terms of expense of operating and repairing the irrigation system. I'll just give you a number. It just blew me away this week. Just to fertilize and apply herbicide in this community, 17 acres, not all of which is grass. Anyone want to hazard a guess, except for the people that know, how much that fertilizer herbicide costs? I'm sorry?
Can't imagine.
You can't imagine? Imagine $5,500. Okay, and that's just the material. Okay, that has to be bags of fertilizer, herbicide. So, you know, think of that. So if we can slowly and economically zero scale small areas, I'm not talking large areas. I think it's to our benefit. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. Where are we? Somebody tell me where we are. Next.
Now,
Okay, Mr. Young, would you like to do the maintenance report? Thank you.
Believe it or not, Jay, you covered most of it in your opening remarks.
I tried not to.
I know, but you did a beautiful job. So, we've been, as a maintenance committee, we are growing. We have some new volunteers. I don't know if I should recognize them now.
You can't?
Well, Larry is volunteering to paint his quad. Tatiana was my only soldier, and she's been painting her quad. In fact, she's finished it and about to do the carports. Laramie volunteered to take care of your quads, so some of you that are here are going to see that improvement. But Jay and I have been going around. We've been filling holes in the asphalt where people have requested that their walkers or they're stumbling into problems there. So we've actually got out and bought asphalt and are pounding it into the ground. We built 3 or 4 new cages for meter boxes and so on to make it look good. We've been cleaning up wires that we can. We've had one disaster, which Tatiana will tell you about if she wants to, where we removed her internet for wasn't fun, but anyway. So we are trying to get rid of the rust, the crud, and to make it beautiful, notwithstanding the beautiful ground. And I want to say off the record that in going and visiting other places where we were particularly looking for landscaping things, but not only do we have the most beautiful place around here that I've seen in all these places that these competitors are doing, it's the prettiest place, and we can make it not so old by just painting. And it's an easy thing to do, to paint a gas pipe or a little light fixture around the place.
Whoop.
And we'll do the hard stuff. And we're having fun doing it. And it's hot out there, but we do it anyway.
Speak for yourself.
As far, what? Oh,
Going
yeah,
out
there's one. What's that, Jay?
This is the one we did yesterday.
Is that one? There, oh, there it is. There's.
See how pretty that looks?
Yeah.
Yeah, say,
Sorry, this is actually after we had cut away a number of the cables and
and got rid of the rock wood and.
so this is a meter box.
Oh.
There's some rotten wood here. This is a lemon tree. This is a grapefruit tree. This is up by Laramie's, on the west side of, Laramie's unit.
622.
Yeah.
Okay, so, kind of nasty. There wasn't a covering on it. So Jim designed and,
Good design, we built it.
we built, yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna get to. Yeah, so you saw the unfinished, and this is what it looks like after it's finished. If I can open up this file, I don't know if people. I tried to share it. I don't know if I shared it or not.
I turned it on.
Yeah,
Oh.
great job.
Okay, I will try and share.
Anyway, that's what we're doing, and we'll do more of that kind of thing. And we'd love to have your help. We'll give you a pint jar with some paint in it, a brush, a pair of gloves, a tray, and you can go at it if you want to volunteer. It's easy when one person takes care of one building. You only have 30 of them to do that way. We're working on some of the sidewalks that are uneven, and you'll see that going on as you go along too. And just for me personally, watching the crew, and since this is a landscaping and maintenance situation, we've separated, but we're really kind of the same. I'm involved in a lot of irrigation, and I can tell you that we left this place to Martinez in not a possible way to be successful. There's no map. There's no clear location to where the timers are, where the control valves are, where they're buried, what's in them, what do they serve. This is all have to be trial and error, and you just can't read somebody's mind. And so Alfonso's been helping us with that, and it's amazing. He is the only one right now that knows where these wires are, where these pipes are, where these valves are, where they're controlled, and where Jay and I tried to start mapping it out since I had spent a week with Alfonso getting wet with him. He doesn't mind getting wet and dirty, but you can't remember it all. And he doesn't take time to tell you, he just says, go there, do that, do that. He's very direct, he's very good. But we tried to start out with just the Pro Box A, timer A, and we couldn't figure it out. And so we're printed up some enlarged maps of the place. And before I head back up north, we will have Martinez or whoever you decide to choose. He will know where everything will be labeled. The manholes where the valves are will be painted, and there'll be a number on it. And anybody can find it. And there'll be a map also locating it. So that's what we're working on. And it doesn't happen overnight, but we sure are working on it. And it's really fun to live here. And if you guys can encourage these landscapers instead of criticizing them all the time, don't ask them to go do some private thing and all that, but show your appreciation, because in my world, the way I live my life and run my businesses, I don't have enough money to get employees to do what I want them to do. But I found out that with recognition and appreciation, you can get anything done. And people will work for appreciation more than they'll work for 20 bucks more an hour or 30 bucks more an hour, or somebody telling them you're an idiot. So if we can do that, take pride in this place. You're very lucky to live here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I didn't mean to mention that earlier. I meant to mention it earlier. Look, I know it's really tempting. They're outside your door. You see them doing some work. Oh, would you mind doing this? You mind doing that? Please try not to do that. We've tried to tell these guys so nice. they're gonna say yes. They're not supposed to, they're supposed to say, okay, I will report it to my boss, and he will put it on the schedule. And it may be something simple like cutting down a limb, but try not to divert them from what they're doing. Getting back to this enclosure here, this is the fourth one we've done, third or fourth.
Yeah.
We're using PVC and plastic lattice, so this will last centuries. Well, I don't know about that,
Not here.
but anyway, okay. Thank you for maintenance. Are there any questions from the board for Jim? Anybody from the community? Yes, Nancy?
Could you provide an update on the northwest entry gate handle latch? Is that something that's being repaired?
I can address that.
I can only say it's fine.
So,
I thought close it.
it should be fixed. It's workable right now. It's not high on the priority list. Ken Murray hammered something together so that we can at least open and close it properly. If you have any difficulty, please give us a call, but there's a kind of a little trick to getting it to close coming off of the gate. And that trick is just to push. I'll show you. Okay. But we know about it. It's just,
Like that.
it's not gonna be addressed anytime soon.
We're gonna look at it.
Yeah.
Margot has been volunteering for the past couple of months to close it.
Okay, we'll take a look at it, a better look at it, and we'll show you. Okay, is there anything else for Jim from the community? If not, we're gonna move on to insurance. I'm sorry, Tanya, I cut you off. You wanted to ask me something earlier.
I was just going to say the same thing that Jim has said, because we've had businesses before, and thank you goes a long way. It's just 2 words and it makes people feel so good. So I've got the insurance report. I've got the insurance report now, and I want to start off with. I just want to assure you that all of our policies have been renewed and they're either paid for or on a payment plan. They've been issued, they're in full force. To make this report smooth and short, I'm not going to list the policies. I'm not going to tell them to cover. Just take my word for it. They're being paid for and they're being renewed. We will be looking for the renewal policies early. As Ed said, we have no idea what our 2026 will look like. But we'll start early shopping and see if we can get the very best. Especially if we look savings for pictures or for Google. A lot of the insurance companies do it with Google, and everything you do, they can see. So that will be really good. And it's come to my attention that some of our residents have been approached by contractors who are asking to look at your roof and bid on it. And I see Jeremy is nodding her head. Just to clarify things, you too?
Yeah.
Just to clarify things, you as a resident, you're responsible for the maintenance of the roof. And that includes cleaning the debris and also putting the renewal coating on as needed. But any kind of any kind of damage to your roof is the responsibility of the association by the bylaws. And we take care of any damage to be done, to be properly bid and so forth. So there is no reason for somebody to get on your roof, say, no, thank you, and just let it go.
How about leaks?
Pardon me?
Leaks.
Well, the leaks should also be reported to the landscape and maintenance. If there are.
I don't know.
Depends where we are.
Okay, let's go back.
Depends where we are. We are inside, it's yours. If we are outside, it's not.
If the leak came from a limb on your roof, and you got a leak, that would be covered by the association. If the leak was because you did not put a coating on it, it's covered by you.
It can be inside or outside.
Right.
Okay, I'm.
Jay, can you stop the hearing?
Oh, sorry about that, yeah. You like the enclosure?
Yeah.
How's that? Are we back?
Thank you.
Is that good, Mike?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, thanks. There's a little community right, behind Putney's, I forget the name of it, but the president, came here, I spent about a half day with her, just compared notes, it's much smaller community than ours. It's nice, you know, mostly townhomes, I forget the name of it, but, they just had their insurance renewed, and she sent me a note, and she was like, wow, this is unbelievable, how about this? And I said, how did you do that? It's with State Farm. She gave me the name of their insurance share. We need to talk to them because they've got a great deal for their community.
Insured with State Farm.
And they dropped you.
Echelon said no.
I know.
And it very well could be the age difference. Do you have any idea when that building was built?
I think they're probably a little bit younger than us, but not by much. It doesn't really matter. I just think it's a good thing to compare notes and maybe learn a little bit. Okay. Are there any questions for Connie on insurance from the board, from the community?
There's a note.
Tim?
Jay, there's a note in the chat asking if you can repeat the roof information.
I don't think.
Okay. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, when we last met, or at least when I was last, there was going to be an inspection by insurance companies to, I guess, assess where we are and determine whether they were happy being our insurer. I understand that's happened. Do we have that back? Do we know if we're in good shape?
Yeah, we work here, Jim.
Yes, we were expecting, yeah, two different policies. One is a property policy which covers our fire and so forth. And that inspection was very good. We had no recommendations as a result of that inspection. We have a second policy for our liability. And the liability was inspected, they did not inspect it. They did have some minor things that needed to be taken care of. Jay and Jim took care of all the minor things. And that looks like there's no problem with that either.
So, the request is for you to repeat the roof situation in terms of damage and repair.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna interrupt you real quick, Tanya. But as far as the roofs go, as far as whose responsibility is what, if you have a question, I'd like it if you could just email me because I need to clarify. From my recollection, the roofs for all homeowners.
Correct.
Is not, HOA is not responsible for anything regarding the roof.
That's right.
Even if they have
Yeah, everything. Yeah, the homeowner is responsible for the roofs. So if you need any clarification or anything, I'm gonna research and make sure. But I want to make sure we do that before we announce,
Okay.
the finality.
Good idea, because I thought I read in there something similar to what Tanya was saying.
It's a tree.
Okay. Let's move on.
Architectural, are they needed?
And thank you, Gloria.
We look at July 14th situation with that windstorm. Did we have roof damage?
No.
The question is, do we have roof damage from July 14th? To my knowledge, I don't remember.
Our report.
No, she said no. Tanya.
We're not talking carports, we're talking units, homeowner.
No.
Not to have carport, carports is a different thing. Okay, can we move on? Let's keep this thing moving. The horse is dying and I don't want to be there anymore. Okay, architectural, Margaret?
Very briefly, so we had only one new request this past month, and that was in 720, and we're going to be approving that. I'll send you a form note, okay? They had initially wanted to put down fake grass, and that was in short, but this new one is going to be approved. The committee's looked at it. They wanted, in brevity, I wasn't going to go into it. They want to put down tiles where at the moment there's aggregate instead of where you're going to put down fake grass. So tiles, many people have got tiles, and there are going to be any reason to deny it. The next one is continuing on with, I think it's 730. Having looked at it and having recognised that it was a lot of the instability that's there at the moment was because the prior board did not make the ground safe after the Cascade did some work there with one of the prior boards. It is, I believe, a board responsibility to make that communal property safe. And I'm not sure whether I make a proposal now or whether that's later on, because he's input. Do I make a proposal now or later?
What would you propose?
Well, I would be proposing that the HOA, because it's a communal area, pay to have, I'll say somebody, dig down and put the current round pavers that are there that are unstable, put them into the ground so they look exactly like the signs next door, and there's total stability in every sense possible. It doesn't say that this would then give the safety, the stability, and it would also fit with the community overall. And it is a communal area. So I want to promote that.
What I would do is I would propose that the board pursue bids and estimates to have the work done if they want to go outside. If not, then to come up with a plan of what to do, and then the board can approve the plan.
Okay, well, we'll come up with a plan. Okay, Jay, and I just will talk. So that's 730, and it is, we have been talking about doing it in conjunction with the owner duty, and we've had an inability to communicate over the past month, but we will be discussing this with Judy. But the essential essence of the whole thing is communal areas, and we're looking for safety, and we have got the papers there already. And then finally, we're still waiting for a formal application, an architectural application, from 666 for the request that they gave informally and we approved. So that's all that's happened.
Nothing happening. No.
Great, thank you very much, Margaret. Are there any questions for architectural committee? Anything from the community? Okay, if not, we're going to skip business and finance, which Ed has already covered, and move into clubhouse rental cap or anything. You're on mute.
No, there's nothing new. We just had one this year, and that was the one that was on March. Okay, that was February 16.
February 16.
Yeah, that was the only one this year.
Great. Thank you very much, Kat. Nancy, liaison.
Short report. There are currently 3 casitas up for sale. Unit 749 was taken off the market, so we have one bedroom unit 641 listed at $253,500. We have one 2-bedroom unit 621 listed at $374,900, and we have one bedroom unit 26 roller coaster remaining on the market. The listing price has been further reduced by $10,000 to $314,900. We anticipate 2 additional 2-bedroom units to be coming on the market in the next month or so. The liaison committee recently met with the new owner of 662 roller coaster, and we fielded all of her new questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Any questions for Nancy and the liaison committee on the board or from the community? Great, thank you. So I do not see Ruth. No. I don't believe she's online. So we are going to dispense with that. Again, I'll just repeat that St. Patrick's Day event was quite nice. I somehow don't have the current agenda. So, unfinished business. All right, the well chlorinator, we did get a bid for an engineering study to do all their analysis, permitting, et cetera, not to put in the well chlorinator, correct?
Correct. And just so you know, it is very highly likely that you will need an engineer report in order to put one in. So you may need to do that anyway.
Okay, the one bid that we have for that is $6,000. I do not believe that's a budgeted item. So we're gonna have to decide what to do with that, and my recommendation is table it for this month, since we just don't have enough information or enough bids in order to proceed.
Is that for the chlorinator?
This would be the automatic chlorinator well.
Is that right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a proposal in writing. Yeah, yeah. All right, we can share camera. Okay, the manual sprinkler upgrade, these are the, this is to automate, is a budgeted item. I believe it's a reserve expense. And if I remember correctly, we budgeted 30,000. It's still in process. We're not quite sure how we're going to do it, but we've got some very, very, very promising possibilities, and we're going to have to evaluate those possibilities in the coming weeks. Certainly before the end of April, we'll have a decision, and it has to be done now. But I don't feel like I can. It's not quite ready for prime time. I need another week or so.
Before we move on to the next topic, I just want to make sure the well chlorinator topic, are we tabling that and keeping it on the agenda for next month? Okay.
Please keep it on the agenda, and can we
Try to get another
bid
for the chlorinator itself or the engineer?
I'm sorry?
Do you want another bid for both?
Well, we're gonna need the engineering study anyway to pull all permits, et cetera. And yeah, I think that's the first step. I know that the addition of the chlorinator into the system will be an additional expense. And I guess we should, I don't know if we should get bids for that yet until we see what the engineering studies say.
Okay, and then, so 2 points. First, the engineer bid was from 2023, and he agreed to keep the same prices for you.
Yeah.
So that's a good point to make. And then also, I didn't know if you saw the note on Ironwood Wells chlorinator.
No.
The note here says that it will cost an additional $400 a month for him to continue, because it's additional reporting, it's a lot of additional work if you put it in a chlorinator.
Wow, really?
So on top of his regular monthly bill, it will be an additional $400.
Now I know why he recommended doing it.
He says it'll take about 1 week, one visit per week to keep it serviced. He says we can't really go further than that with chlorine storage, as it drags out of the water pretty quickly. So storing a lot more wouldn't work. So that's why the once a week visit, which means an additional cost.
No, you're not doing anything, Andrew. We'll find a solution. Actually, we're gonna have to find it. I've been doing it along with Jim every once in a while, every 2 weeks. But when I leave on April 30th, I have to teach somebody full time. It takes 10 minutes tops.
So the other, I just want to make a point. I met with the Buena County inspector on site at your well a couple weeks ago. And they, every 3 years, they touch base, they want all the reports, they ask for all those backflow reports, and then they go and inspect your well. On their documentation, nowhere does it say that we add chlorine. So as far as they're concerned, you don't add chlorine to your water. So once, and I kind of tried to pick his brain without picking his brain. And he said, if at any time you start adding chlorine to the water, you have to do additional reporting. It's a whole nother report, a whole other thing you have to file. It's more for Ironwood Well Service to come and do. It's an additional reports that he has to file, more testing he has to do. It includes a lot more on a what is it, a monthly basis. So as far as they're concerned, you don't.
I don't think anyone's put chlorine in that well for a long time.
So it's I got I'm sorry.
The question is it really necessary? So we have, and I can show you the email saying it's not. The same person a couple months later saying that it is. So I just don't know what to do. I'm not a water expert.
What did that inspector say?
He said, according to our test results and everything, it really isn't necessary. However, based off the age and everything, and we haven't had the interior of the tank looked at, he said it could come time where it would be beneficial. But he said, according to everything he was seeing, it wasn't really necessary.
But what he tested was chlorinated water, right? Or tested, yeah.
So the well inspector, when he came out, he just looks at the overall system. They get the reports from your Ironwood Well Service every month, and because they have to report to the state. So he has those reports already. He has all the testing for all the water samples. He comes to just look at the actual physical well, all your valves, make sure everything's good and safe. That's what he did.
What was here?
Do you know what the indicators are of when it would become necessary to chlorinate?
So there's certain levels of certain, and again, I don't know the specifics, but he did say when certain levels of certain chemicals start rising in your water, and that's indicative of you needing more chlorine. And he said, according to the reports he's been getting, we've been fine. But because from what I remember, people were going over and putting drops in the well. So I
don't think that's ever happened.
So I definitely think it's something that the community needs to really think about. I think you need to talk to Lucas at Ironwood Well and find out from him, because if you just stop doing the chlorine to see what the levels do, it may come back to bite you that you end up finding out you really did need it, but you may also be fine. So I think he's the one that we really need to get the information.
Okay. I'll commit to getting together with Lucas and getting to the bottom of it, because Lucas is the one that said
He said,
you don't
yeah.
need it.
And then he said you do need it. And I would also say that my opinion on this, from everything I've been told and everything I've gone through, is before everything else, if I were suggesting something, it would be to get that tank cleaned out for the bid that you received from Smythe. Get the tank cleaned out, see where you're at as far as how that helps with your chemicals, and go from there, because that's going to evaluate the stability of the tank, whether or not it's good to go. And I think that's more important than putting in a chlorinator.
All right, that we have a bid from Smith or Smythe from last year. We didn't really ask for, we asked for just an inspection of the tank, and they came back with a inspect, clean, recoat if necessary, blah, 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 $17,000.
It would be a reasonable expense.
At which point I threw up my hands. We had other problems. But are they the only ones that are capable of doing something like that?
I probably not, but because they are the original company that handled this, I would suggest going and staying with that.
Okay. That may also have a side benefit if we have a buildup of sand in that tank. It would eliminate
Clean it out.
sand from our irrigation system as well. Oh, sorry. Is there any other comments from the board on? Let's switch it from the chlorinator topic to the tank, cleaning out the tank.
And that is a reserve budgeted item already.
Okay. Is there any comments or questions from the board on that? Nancy, you have something? I know you have some history.
Just a little bit of background, we never put chlorine in the well. We had one report in 2023 that was outside the acceptable parameters. It was retested the next month and it came back fine. It was after that that someone came up with the idea of putting chlorine in there. We never had an issue with false readings or readings out of kilter prior to that.
Okay, thank you.
So just 1 month that we had an out of kilter flag response.
And if I remember correctly, that was attributable to a bird, doing its business on, yeah, could you grab the mic, Jim? You have something to add? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I concur with Nancy because, she sent that, document about this and it was a fluke thing, but some people were concerned and out of caution, the chlorine started. We probably don't have a problem with that, but we do have a problem with sand. And I don't know why that's not on the.
Well, we were talking about that right now.
Okay.
Filter. So, in doing the work with, if we go forward with Smith, we also have been talking about, I thought you were getting some bids, I think we have one from, maybe perhaps to add a sand filter in between well and the tank, an additional sand filter, is that right?
I know that we're getting bids for the filter. I don't have all of them together yet.
Okay, do we have any?
No,
bids?
we don't have any, because Adrian from Craftsman said he had tried to contact you and Jim, and he said he left a voicemail.
Absolutely not.
Because I talked to him again today, and I told him, I don't think you did.
No.
So I mean, that happened, because he wanted to come out and just kind of eye on.
We get, make that happen this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're available all week.
So then my question is, if cleaning out the tank is going to help remove any sediment or sand in the tank for the system, do you still need the? No.
Yeah.
Well, got there on the first.
Because I thought you already had a sand filter, this is an additional one.
We do, it is, what we need now is a fine particulate, filter. Yes, Jim, go ahead.
The sand filter that is in there now, needs to be flushed and we do it twice a month. Alfonso said for a while everything was flushing it every day and it did nothing to improve the sand in the water.
So Jim's comment is that, the sand filter that we currently have in the system is, flushed about every 2 weeks. In order to eliminate sand from the irrigation system, Alfonso had been doing it every day and it did not matter. Sand was still getting in. So, we believe we do need that additional sand filter. Okay. Any other questions or comments on the, water tank itself and by extension, the additional sand filter? We don't have any bids for the sand filter. The recommendation, I agree, is that we would move forward with the Smith Industries doing taking care of our water tank. It is going to probably it will result in water being turned off on switch over to city water for the time that they're doing that. I would imagine it's a half day, 1 day operation. Do I hear a proposal from anyone on the board to move forward with that work? The cost is, well, the bid came in late last year, $17,000. I think that they would respect that bid, but we'll have to go back with that.
I so move.
Okay, the motion has been made to move forward with Smith Industries for inspection. And
I think we need more bids.
well, we just discussed that.
No, I understand, but still,
Okay,
you know,
so
we can leave.
we have a motion on the floor. And if we have a second motion for the same topic, then okay, so Susan's in a second and then we'll continue the conversation. If anyone on the board wants to discuss the topic.
So the motion was made and seconded that we engage Smith Industries to do the inspection and cleaning of the water tank. Now, Tatiana, do you have a comment?
No, my comment was just add more.
Please speak right into the
If
microphone.
we can save some money, I think it will be worth to do it. That's the comment I have.
Okay. That was my first question, probably a month ago, about if anyone else could do this work. The question is, I guess, do we want to pay more bids?
We have.
It's not necessarily, this is a very specialized thing, this is the original manufacturer of the water tank.
Yeah.
How old is the water tank?
You have no idea, there is a date on,
Oh, okay.
I think it's late 80s.
I'm just thinking that the $17,000, we should have, it's to me that would be a derelict in our duty if we didn't. And what came to mind here as a parallel is you get, original medication, then you get generics. So although these are the original people that put in the tank or whatever it is, then there might be somebody who can do this repair work or whatever it is we need at less expensive. I think we should, my vote would be to get more bids.
Okay, Robert's rules, we got a motion, it's been seconded, there's been. Hold on. So the motion has been made and seconded, we've got two board members that have mentioned that they would prefer to get other bids.
And Jim wants to add something.
Are there any other comments or questions from the board? Jim?
My concern is that we can blow through $17,000 in a month with sand in all these lines, replacing sprinkler heads, valves, diaphragms, all this kind of stuff. That we need to solve the sand problem, and I know we should get more bids, but if we don't, hopefully you'll figure out a way that we can move forward without, what if we were hijacked and we were 6 months from now, we're still waiting for another bid?
And that's a very good point. I must add that it took about 7 months to get Smith for us. 6 or 7 months before Smith even gave us a number. Colleen?
So that was my question to Chrissy. How long has it been to get this one bid? Because if it's taken that long, we're foolish to continue to wait to get this done, in my opinion.
Thank you. Yeah. So folks, I know a lot of you aren't familiar with what Jim just said. Let me amplify. There's not a day that goes by, Greg Cross can verify this as well. There's not a day that goes by that something has to be repaired in the irrigation system because of sand buildup. And it costs time and it costs money. Replace your sprinkler heads, replace your valve, whatever it is. I think the longer we wait, we're shooting ourselves in the foot by hoping to save, let's say we save $1,000. Well, we save $1,000 on the bid, but we cost ourselves $5,000 in irrigation repairs.
In man hours.
So can I make a suggestion that maybe you put a timeline on it? Maybe you allow the next 30 days for me to get as many companies and as many bids who can possibly come out here and help you out and give you an estimate. And if you don't receive any by the next board meeting, then you make a decision on that.
Right, no later than the next board.
That's what I'm saying, like put a cap on it, give it 30 days. I will go out and I'll make as many phone calls and send as many emails as I can.
Okay.
And if it ends up taking as long as the previous, then you have your answer by the end of next month.
Kevin, you have something?
I'm just a little confused. So the 17,000 does not include a new filter though, right?
No, it does not.
So if the problem is to take action to reduce the sand in the system, you're gonna have to add on to this project that filter.
That's correct.
We do not have a quote for that currently.
We do not. She's got some pending, I believe, but we don't have any bids yet. I don't think that that's an exorbitant expense, just based on my knowledge of the well and the line going from the well to the tank. I don't think it's going to be exorbitant.
Yeah, my point was if you move forward at 17,000, you would solve the problem.
So I think it's important to remember that number one, this is a reserve expense. It isn't something that you're supposed to be maintaining the tank anyway. So this is something that as a community with a well, you're supposed to be doing. Number two, in my opinion, from what I know, it can only help the situation. It's not going to hurt. So it will help eliminate sediment and sand that's currently sitting in the tank that you're having a problem with. So honestly, either way, I feel like you're going to have to do both. But because it's a reserve expense, you do have it budgeted. It is part of the maintenance of the well. In my professional opinion, it's something that should be done. That's what I'm saying, within the parameters that you like.
How we need to, maybe withdraw the motion? Is that correct?
You can amend it with the caveat of whatever timeline you like.
So I'll make a friendly amendment. I'll make a friendly amendment that we move forward with securing bids, competitive bids within the next 30 days. If not, we move forward with the existing bid we have in place.
Okay, does everyone understand that amendment to John Barrow's motion?
Yeah.
Is there a second to that amendment? Seconded?
Yes.
Any further discussion from the board? Any comments from the community? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you.
Well done.
Wow. It's a long way to get to a good approach. Okay, where am I? New business. Tax compilation review. Is this the,
Landscaping still.
oh, we're on landscaping. Oh, sorry. No. I covered the manual sprinkler, just saying that we hope to have some news within the week. We'll go to the landscaping bids now. Luis covered, and I kind of amplified a little bit as to how and why the landscape committee arrived at the decision to recommend to the board to continue with Martinez. Now, we haven't started to negotiate with him. There are some things that have to happen before we actually award him this contract, but I think that at this point, I'd entertain a motion from the board to approve moving forward with Martinez Landscaping at no more than $144,000 per year to include all irrigation repairs, labor. We're still responsible for materials.
So, Dan?
Thank you, Ed. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion, questions from the board on awarding Martinez Landscaping contract? I believe I should have said, we should have said, we're looking for a 2-year contract with a 30-day, by either party notice to terminate the contract.
2 years, too much. 2 years, it's too much.
So it's 2 years. The benefit of the 2-year contract is that it locks in your price, but it does not keep you obligated to keep him on site, not keep him employed. Because you have a 30-day out, but it locks in that price.
Okay, got it.
So I'm sorry, I just want to bring up in relation to the cost. So you're looking at the cost for the landscape contract for Martinez. In addition to that, the amount you're paying Alfonso, which was given the 20 hours a week, I believe, at $50 an hour.
We amended it to go up to 40 hours.
Up to 40, okay. So I just want to remind you that, and I may be doing the numbers wrong, but according to my numbers, between your landscape contract amount and the trash, you've got about $4,600 a month. That's clear from your budget. So when you add in paying Alfonso, you're cutting it really
Very close, yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I think that putting the limit of 144 is what I'm asking, or the proposal, or sorry, the motion has been made, that might drop down. Likewise, the bid that we have for trash removal, I think there's room for negotiation there as well.
So if we went with any of the other contracts or any of the other bids, we would still have the Alfonso cost on top of equally? So that's a set, that's a constant throughout this, okay.
So, worst case scenario, we go with a brand new company. It is imperative, and I can't stress it enough, and Jim and everybody here that is intimate with a lot of the details can verify. Having Alfonso teach them this property is mandatory. No, I don't care how they are, you come in here and operate and maintain this thing properly without his knowledge. We've got to get, Jim and I are learning some of it, Louise is learning some of it, there are other members of the board learning some of it. It's a library of information that we have to record and be able to reference whenever we need it and impart to whoever is doing the actual work. Okay. So, I believe a motion's been made. Is there a second to that motion?
I think we have some very,
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't, okay, any further discussion from the board? Anything from the community? Yes, Tim? Yeah.
Microphone.
Sorry. Sorry to have something for all these. So I just, in trying to understand, I believe the 144 is slightly more than Martinez is getting currently, correct? And including trash. So they will lose one trash day and they charge a little bit more. Is that, they're going to need more hours?
Full-time third person on. I'm sorry, we should have told you that. Yeah, we have. And Jim, you want to amplify what? This is not in writing yet, but it will be.
He has proposed that that's what he will be paid, period, 144. None of the other companies have that stipulation. So there's not going to be any more labor costs for him to fix things and keep things in repair. He is also, I can say this now, right?
Yeah.
He is also.
No. Yes, because if it's not ready, we don't ready yet.
Well, it's a better deal even.
There is a kicker that he's offered that we need to clarify, and I can't divulge the kicker yet. But
Wi-Fi for this building?
Yeah, that's easy. They're gonna take care of that.
So, sorry, I just want to kind of finish up here. So we'll have additional people, we'll have additional labor, we'll have Alfonso. What is it that we believe will be advanced beyond what we've done over the last 2 years struggling with the manual that we have?
I think it's going to be more attention on the part of the board, landscaping committee. I think it's going to be more stringent management. We're going to hold him to, rather than him saying yes to everything, we're going to hold him to what he says he's going to do. And the contract hasn't been written yet, but this is all going to be written into the contract. Go ahead, Jim.
Another critical thing is that no landscape company can be successful in our trash. We need the people that are hired to take care of this place, taking care of this place, and not dedicating 1 day a week for trash. And so it's going to be a good thing not to have to do trash, so that when those three people are here, what is it?
5 days a week.
90 hours.
90 hours a week.
90 hours a week. That's got to be taking care of plants, taking care of this place, not picking up trash.
Now, we do have I'll get to you, Louise, sorry. We do have a bid, came in today, haven't had a chance to review 100% of it. Did you get a copy of that, Chrissy?
Not that I noticed.
I thought you were copied on it, but maybe you didn't.
Was it Titan Charter? Yes, I got it.
Okay, from Titan, this is the company that did when there were 94 recycling barrels out here, and they did the trash removal, and then it went away for whatever reason it went away, it's gone. So they have come back, they made a proposal, I met with them 2 weeks ago, I believe. made a proposal. I want to meet with them again, maybe with some other members of the board. And, I think there's some leeway in there. The current bid is $2,200 a month, which is a little bit higher than I anticipated trash removal would be, which translates to 26,000 a year, if my math's correct. 1 day a week, I'm sorry? No, well, the proposal says trash and recycling.
He sent a revision, so I asked that question.
Oh, okay.
And this is the cost for just trash.
Just trash, okay.
So it's 26,000 additional in a year.
So I do want to mention also, AOPC said that they would do it for 2,500 a month.
Okay, which is higher than what Titan is proposing, and this is Titan's business.
No.
Okay, Louise, you had a question, comment?
Here I go again. One thing I want to say too about the Martinez crew, it's pretty consistent. We have the same men, well, we have a new man this week, but Jacob is here, every day. Hector, who's a really good worker. We have 2 years of familiarity. These guys have gotten familiar with the property. They need a lot of improvement. But again, with Alfonso showing them where they're deficient, the learning curve is getting lower.
All right, so let me back up. What we're really talking about is the motion to approve Martinez's contract not to exceed $144,000 per year as our landscaping company. Chrissy.
I just want to clarify, there was somebody who made a comment that this would, I believe the comment was that we would be paying him less a month.
No, it's more than what's currently it.
Okay, I just want to make sure that it's about $2,700 a month more than what he's getting now.
Yeah.
Can I ask something
Yes.
or make a comment before?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I honestly am hesitating to vote yes for all of you. And I think if we could at least specify the amount of hours what we are going to work, not just 90 hours, but, you know, if we could have amplify when we come and when we go, because I worked with them more than a year, and this is what I saw inconsistent. You know, like the number of hours what we write is one, and what we see on a property, this is a different story. And I have a, you know, I can't say yes to this. I understand all this situation.
You're gonna have a chance to vote, Tatiana, that's fine. If you want to explain your vote, that's fine too, but let me just address what we can do to mitigate the type of thing that you're talking about. And I tried to do it in November and I failed miserably, and that's putting in a biometric time clock. I promise you that that will be done. There will be a biometric time clock, and they will be required to log in and log out every single day. There'll be no more fudging of hours. There's going to be a much tighter control over their coming and going and what they're doing while they're here. And that's really a lot of Alfonso's responsibility as well. Okay. When you leave the guys to their own devices, good God, it's hard work. It gets hot. You know, they're going to leave a little early. So we got a motion on the table to approve it up to $144,000 per year. Hopefully we can negotiate that a little bit better, give us more leeway to do other things with that money in that budget. There's a second.
Yes.
Any other questions from the board? Yes.
I do have a question, and I'm not sure it pertains to this, but I was trying to find out what the budget is for trash. There is no budget.
There is no budget. It's lumped in. So we kind of made a little bit of a mistake. Ed, you want to cover that?
Well, we didn't make a mistake at the time. It was all included in the landscaping.
Right.
Now that we're going in a different direction, what we can do is allocate some of the funds from the 175 into a separate line item. What we can't do is increase the amount of total budget. So we can reallocate the funds into a separate trash line item now that we are going to go into that model. The only other thing I want to just mention real quick while I have the floor, Jay's going to want to kill me for this, but it's my conscience as treasurer, is that if we do 144 and 126, we have about $6,000 left over for Alfonso and or someone like him to bring this group back in line. Anything above that will be over budget. We'll have to find those funds elsewhere.
So 144 plus 26 is 170. Our budget for the 144 is landscaping, 26 is trash, 170 total. Budget 175. We have 5,000 cushion. That's why I say I'll get to you now. That's why I say we've got to, hopefully negotiate a little bit and do a little bit better with both of those to give us a cushion for basically use the landscaping of $175 budget line item. Yes, Tim.
I was just gonna say for 2025, you got a little kiss for the first 2 months of the year. So you're not really holding to those numbers, right? Because you only got 10 months or 9 months under the new agreement. You have the first, I assume, at least 3 months under the current wages. So you have a little accumulation that it doesn't do you any good on an annual basis, but on a 9-month basis, you'll have a little more money to play.
About $8,000, correct.
This is kind of a rhetorical question. The needs for the men to be working as hard as they do during the summer in the winter months would be very different, along with perhaps Alfonso would not be needed as consistently over the winter months. Is that?
I think that's a safe assumption. I think that's a safe assumption, but
Who knows?
yeah, I think Alfonso's primary benefit, if you will, during the toughest months are his knowledge of how to keep everything going. Things get a little bit easier over the winter. Okay. All right. Look, folks, we're dragging this out, but I have a motion on the table to approve her $44,000 per year for Martinez for landscaping not to exceed. It has been seconded. Are there any other questions or comments from the board? Anything from the community? All right, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Please raise your hand so we can. Any opposed?
I am not.
Raise your hand.
I'm not yes and I'm not no. I just.
You want to abstain?
I'm sorry, yes.
Okay, that's fine. It's allowed, not every decision has to be announced.
Maybe there is another bid we can get.
Sorry?
Let's move
I
on.
said maybe we can get another bid.
No, I'm not going back. It's April.
It's already done.
It's not getting any more business.
So those
No,
are right.
it's already passed. Okay, new business. What am I missing here? What is tax compilation review, Christie? Did I not read something?
So your taxes for 2024 were filed,
Oh, okay.
and this is the report from the CPA. It's just there for your review.
Oh, no, I have that.
You don't need to make a motion or anything like that. You don't have to approve it. It's there for your reference.
We're a little fast, folks. We're on my slides. Any other new business? New business? From the board? New business from the community?
Compilation review?
I don't mean to drag that horse to the thing, but when we start to talk about trash and the trash bid, I would like to entertain that we do some kind of a survey study that, do we really need all of this to have our trash personally picked up from a receptacle? Are there some of us that could actually carry it out to the street out on Los Lomitas in some city trucks that can pick it up so that we don't have to pay $26,000 a year for trash, especially when half of us are gone in the summer and there's not that trash anymore. So
Goals that like
Yeah,
to.
it's a good point.
That's a good
I
point.
think, so that's where I think the negotiation comes in. I mean, it's a project to put together, a scenario where Jim and Jay and Margaret agree to take their trash to Mary Lou's van. There's one less pickup. Now, I'm just hypothetical.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect. There's the other aspect of trying to determine just how many people are here. Well, the year, so we can go back and say, hey, look, you know, from June through October, you only got 30 units.
Good idea.
Yeah, it's a very good idea.
We need
It's
to
a project.
quantify.
Someone has to do it. That's I can do the idea.
We should do it.
So I'm gonna reiterate my suggestion that the community consider either appointing one person per quad to bring trash to the dumpster, or homeowners bring their own trash to a dumpster and Titan only empties the dumpster. That is an option that's gonna save you a lot of money, and I understand this is an elderly community, but I think it's something that you can also use to negotiate. And then my second question before we move on, do I need to go out and get more trash bids? Are we discussing the trash? What are we doing?
Yeah, the only one that I knew to contact was Titan. I thought I contacted the Republic.
Yeah.
Not Waste Management.
Waste management doesn't do whatever.
Yeah.
No.
Neither does Republic.
Yeah, they don't say one either.
So, I mean, look, this is a hard nut to crack because don't take this the wrong way, but we've been spoiled rotten for years.
Yes.
You know, you put it outside your back door and it disappears. It's very convenient. It's nice. I don't know too many places in the world where you have that kind of service.
But it's so expensive for what they're doing.
It is.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
So, there are solutions. Judy has an idea.
So if you let me drive that little thing around. I'll have to travel. Come on.
Oh, the fine.
So again, Judy was volunteer to stay here 12 months a year. Okay, look, go ahead.
Is it possible to, because you're already paying Alfonso quite a bit, maybe he could pick up the trash since you're already paying?
No.
No.
That's paying a range
Yeah. I can.
Okay, so where are we? We're on trash.
Yeah.
I think we need to do a little bit more work on solutions. Maybe we can form a committee to how we can make it easier for whoever removes our trash, to get to it and remove it on a regular basis. That would lower our costs. Yes, Colleen?
So I would volunteer to get a committee together to figure out how many people are here 12 months of the year and how many people are here, say 5. Would that kind of information help you sooner rather than later?
It would help a great deal, yes. Judy, I'm sorry I skipped you. Did you have something that you wanted to say? Don't get old.
We've got to have, you can't just shut garbage out at curb at 9:00 in the morning. You got to commit a while in.
No, they're.
Nope, yeah, I don't think the suggestion was ever.
No, we're not going to leave trash on the curb.
No.
There's a couple different ways to look at that. The first step, Colleen, if you could get that committee going, ask for volunteers, I don't like when you.
Very sorry, but I can almost guarantee you, Titan's gonna say unless your numbers are absolute guaranteed, it's not gonna be a factor in the amount. Telling him that if it's switched because you have a lot of numbers doesn't guarantee him that it's not gonna happen. You have to, it has to be guaranteed, yeah.
Okay, is it?
Jay, real quick, it might be better to find out if Titan will do that before you establish a committee, just from an efficiency perspective.
Yeah, he's. Go ahead.
I hear you and I understand the rationale for that, but, you know, as an example, one year, say Jane Michaela will say 5 months, and another year they may say 6 or 4. It's too inconsistent. But when you're dealing with
Give us some information.
Yeah, but it's good information to have in any event because the year that I say 6 months, I brought my trash off of everyone Patty's.
I know. Yeah.
It's really not the amount of trash, it's the number of pickups they have to do.
Right, because you can't guarantee that you have specific amounts during this time of year, they're going to do it by unit. That's what I was saying, if you wanted to do one receptacle at every quad, it'll lessen the pickups, maybe it'll help save them time, you could even do 2. You can assign one person per, bring the trash dumpster every week. I mean, there are options, and I think maybe the committee could come up with options and solutions might be a good idea. I don't think it will affect item trashes.
It's a good idea.
I just wanted to say that I think one of the charm points of this, of our community is that our trash is not, we don't have trash cans and big, you know, I think a dumpster would very much, take, for me, seeing a dumpster, and then you have the poor people who might have the nice unit that's then looking out onto a dumpster.
Yeah.
I really think that he had a brilliant idea with those trash cans we don't see. And I think it really makes a huge difference in our community that you don't see them. Agree.
If, clarify that if a dumpster or dumpsters were put on the property, it wouldn't be visible. They would be behind an enclosure.
Because there was one over there.
That parking lot.
Oh, yeah, that should clarify that. So can we start with what we said we were going to start anyway? With determining how many people are here and
Yes.
what we can.
If you'd like to, I don't think it's going to
It's not 120 years every week.
Yes.
But they check every week.
They have to check.
How are they gonna know if you put garbage?
They have to look.
I know.
That's right. Unless you put a
Yeah,
sign.
it's a hard problem to solve.
Flag.
You know.
So then my first question is going to be, do you want to table the trash?
Yes, we have to, and maybe we can get some other bids.
Okay, so we're going to table it. I'll keep doing my investigative, and then do you want to appoint a committee, an ad hoc committee?
Colleen, you willing to do that?
Yeah, I mean, what you want to do now is come up with some possible options, say 2 receptacles for each 4 buildings, or, and whether that would impact his, yeah, all right, I'll do that.
Because they do it by unit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Right, but if you could get
There'll be 30 pickups.
the trash, right,
Versus 100.
correct. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, and anybody who wants to help me on this committee, please call me ASAP, because I'm gonna get this done before the next board meeting.
Okay. We called you. I called you.
And just throw.
I called you.
The board has to create the ad hoc committee, so you'll have to make a motion and a second.
Okay, Mr. Motion, thank you, Ed, do you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I move to create an ad hoc committee to look at trash solutions.
Is there any further discussion, any questions? Anything from the community? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And we should have added that motion that Colleen would chair that committee.
Probably, I can add it.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
I did.
Margaret did. Margaret. We're gonna move into the public forum, I believe. Is there anything from the community? God help you, because I'm ready. No, is there anything from the community that anyone needs to bring up at this point? Next meeting date is April 28th, 4 p.m. Thank you for sticking with us for almost 2 hours, 3 minutes short of 2 hours. I thought I'd go quicker, but that was a lot, and I think a lot of good work on tonight. Thank you very much. Adjourn.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. All right, we're gonna move into executive session.
Very good.
So thank you for, oh, it's either, it's the cat stuff on it.
No, I just.
Does anyone in the room have their laptop audio on or anything?